Greetings from Exam Heist. We have identified important exam questions. Practice these important questions 2-3 times to get 100% success in exam. Subscribe and comment, share PDF in the below comment section to get PDF of these 40 important questions. If you want to access full dump, please visit www.examheist.com. We have 24/7 support available for your doubts and exam queries.
Question 1. Which statement results in an Apex compiler error? Option A. Map less than id. Lees greater than L map equals new map less than id. Led greater than. Select ID from lead limit 8. Option B. Date D1 equals date. Today. D2 equals date. Value of the 1st of January 2018. Option C. Integer A equals 5. B equals 6. C. D equals 7. Option D. List less than string greater than S equals list less than string greater than A. B. C. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, list less than string greater than S equals list less than string greater than A, B, C. Question 2. What are two benefits of the Lightning Component Framework? Choose 2. Option A. It simplifies complexity when building pages, but not applications. Option B. It provides an event-driven architecture for better decoupling between components. Option C. It promotes faster development using out-of-box components that are suitable for desktop and mobile devices. Option D. It allows faster PDF generation with Lightning components. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. It provides an event-driven architecture for better decoupling between components. Option C. It promotes faster development using out-of-box components that are suitable for desktop and mobile devices. Question 3. A method is passed a list of generic S objects as a parameter. What should the developer do to determine which object type, account, lead, or contact? For example, to cast each subject. Option A. Use the first 3 characters of the subject ID to determine the subject type. Option B. Use the GETS object type method on each generic subject to retrieve the subject token. Option C. Use the GETS object name method on the subject class to get the subject name. Option D. Use a try-catch construct to cast the subject into one of the 3 subject types. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Use the GETS object type method on each generic subject to retrieve the subject token. Question 4. What should a developer use to implement an automatic approval process submission for cases? Option A. An assignment rule. Option B. Scheduled Apex. Option C. Process builder. Option D. A workflow rule. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, process builder. Question 5. When viewing the quote, the sales representative wants to easily see how many discounted items are included in the quote line. Items. What should a developer do to meet this requirement? Option A. Create a trigger on the quote object that queries the quantity field on discounted quote line items. Option B. Create a workflow rule on the quote line item object that updates a field on the parent quote when the item is discounted. Option C. Create a roll-up summary field on the quote object that performs a sum on the quote line item quantity field, filtered for only discounted quote line items. Option D. Create a formula field on the quote object that performs a sum on the quote line item quantity field, filtered for only discounted quote line items. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Create a roll-up summary field on the quote object that performs a sum on the quote line item quantity Field. Filtered for only discounted quote line items. Question 6. A developer wants to get access to the standard price book in the org while writing a test class that covers an opportunity line item. Trigger. Which method allows access to the price book? Option A. Use test. Get standard price book id. To get the standard price book ID. Option B. Use at isTest. See all data equals true. And delete the existing standard price book. Option C. Use test. Load data. And a static resource to load a standard price book. Option D. Use at test visible to allow the test method to see the standard price book. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Use test. Get standard price book id. To get the standard price book ID. Question 7. Which two Apex data types can be used to reference a Salesforce record ID dynamically? Choose 2. Option A. Enum. Option B. Subject. Option C. External ID. Option D. String. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Subject. Option D. String. Question 8. Where can a developer identify the time taken by each process in a transaction using developer console log? Inspector. Option A. Performance tree tab under stack tree panel. Option B. Execution tree tab under stack tree panel. Option C. Timeline tab under execution overview panel. Option D. Save order tab under execution overview panel. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Timeline tab under execution overview panel. Question 9. Which two platform features align to the controller portion of MVC architecture? Choose 2. Option A. Process builder actions. Option B. Workflow rules. Option C. Standard objects. Option D. Date fields. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Process builder actions. Option B. Workflow rules. Question 10. A developer needs to test an invoicing system integration. After reviewing the number of transactions required for the test, the developer estimates that the test data will total about 2 GB of data storage. Production data is not required for the integration testing. Which two environments meet the requirements for testing? Choose 2. Option A. Developer sandbox. Option B. Full sandbox. Option C. Developer edition. Option D. Partial sandbox. Option A. Developer Pro sandbox. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Full sandbox. Option D. Partial sandbox. Question 11. A developer working on a time management application wants to make total hours for each timecard available to application users. A timecard entry has a master detail relationship to a timecard. Which approach should the developer use to accomplish this declaratively? Option A. A Visualforce page that calculates the total number of hours for a timecard and displays it on a page. Option B. A roll-up summary field on the timecard object that calculates the total hours from timecard entries for that timecard. Option C. A process builder process that updates a field on the timecard when a timecard entry is created. Option D. An Apex trigger that uses an aggregate query to calculate the hours for a given timecard and stores it in a custom field. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. A Visualforce page that calculates the total number of hours for a timecard and displays it on a page. Question 12. A developer encounters Apex heap limit errors in a trigger. Which two methods should the developer use to avoid this error? Choose 2. Option A. Use the transient keyword when declaring variables. Option B. Query and store fields from the related object in a collection when updating related objects. Option C. Remove or set collections to null after use. Option D. Use SOQL for loops instead of assigning large queries results to a single collection and looping through a collection. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Remove or set collections to null after use. Option D. Use SOQL for loops instead of assigning large queries results to a single collection and looping through a collection. Question 13. Which approach should be used to provide test data for a test class? Option A. Query for existing records in the database. Option B. Execute anonymous code blocks that create data. Option C. Use a test data factory class to create test data. Option D. Access data in a test visible class variables. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Use a test data factory class to create test data. Question 14. Which approach should a developer take to automatically add a "maintenance plan" to each opportunity that includes an "annual subscription" when an opportunity is closed? Option A. Build a opportunity line item trigger that adds a price book entry record. Option B. Build an opportunity line item trigger to add an opportunity line item record. Option C. Build an opportunity trigger that adds a price book entry record. Option D. Build an opportunity trigger that adds an opportunity line item record. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Build an opportunity trigger that adds an opportunity line item record. Question 15. Which two statements are true about using the test setup annotation in an Apex test class? Choose 2. Option A. The test setup annotation cannot be used when the is test. See all data equals true. Annotation is used. Option B. Test data is inserted once for all test methods in a class. Option C. Records created in the test setup method cannot be updates in individual test methods. Option D. The test setup method is automatically executed before each test method in the test class is executed. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. The test setup annotation cannot be used when the is test. See all data equals true. Annotation is used. Option B. Test data is inserted once for all test methods in a class. Question 16. What is the requirement for a class to be used as a custom Visualforce controller? Option A. Any top-level Apex class that has a constructor that returns a page reference. Option B. Any top-level Apex class that extends a page reference. Option C. Any top-level Apex class that has a default no argument constructor. Option D. Any top-level Apex class that implements the controller interface. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Any top-level Apex class that has a default no argument constructor. Question 17. A Visualforce page is required for displaying and editing case records that includes both standard and custom functionality defined in an Apex class called myController extension. The Visualforce page should include which less than Apex page greater than attribute S to correctly implement controller functionality. Option A. Controller equals case and extensions equals myController extension. Option B. Extensions equals myController extension. Option C. Controller equals myController extension. Option D. Standard controller equals case and extensions equals myController extension. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Standard controller equals case and extensions equals myController extension. Question 18. A newly hired developer discovers that there are multiple triggers on the case object. What should the developer consider when working with triggers? Option A. Developers must dictate the order of trigger execution. Option B. Trigger execution order is based on creation date and time. Option C. Unit tests must specify the trigger being tested. Option D. Trigger execution order is not guaranteed for the same subject. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Trigger execution order is not guaranteed for the same subject. Question 19. How should a developer prevent a recursive trigger? Option A. Use a one trigger per object pattern. Option B. Use a static Boolean variable. Option C. Use a trigger handler. Option D. Use a private Boolean variable. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Use a static Boolean variable. Question 20. Which three options can be accomplished with formula fields? Choose 3. Option A. Generate a link using the hyperlink function to a specific record. Option B. Display the previous value for a field using the priorvalue function. Option C. Determine if a datetime field value has passed using the now function. Option D. Return and display a field value from another object using the VLOOKUP function. Option A. Determine which of three different images to display using the if function. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Generate a link using the hyperlink function to a specific record. Option C. Determine if a datetime field value has passed using the now function. Option A. Determine which of three different images to display using the if function. Question 21. What is a capability of the less than LTNG? Require greater than tag that is used for loading external JavaScript libraries in Lightning component. Choose 3. Option A. Loading files from documents. Option B. One-time loading for duplicate scripts. Option C. Specifying loading order. Option D. Loading scripts in parallel. Option A. Loading externally hosted scripts. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. One-time loading for duplicate scripts. Option C. Specifying loading order. Option D. Loading scripts in parallel. Question 22. A platform developer needs to write an Apex method that will only perform an action if a record is assigned to a specific record type. Which two options allow the developer to dynamically determine the ID of the required record type by its name? Choose 2. Option A. Make an outbound web services call to the SOAP API. Option B. Hardcode the ID as a constant in an Apex class. Option C. Use the getRecordTypeInfos by name method in the describes object result class. Option D. Execute a SOQL query on the record type object. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Use the getRecordTypeInfos by name method in the describes object result class. Option D. Execute a SOQL query on the record type object. Question 23. A developer has the controller class below. Which code block will run successfully in an execute anonymous window? Option A. myFooController m equals new myFooController. System. Assert. m. prop. equals null. Option B. myFooController m equals new myFooController. System. Assert. m. prop equals 0. Option C. myFooController m equals new myFooController. System. Assert. m. prop equals null. Option D. myFooController m equals new myFooController. System. Assert. m. prop equals 1. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. myFooController m equals new myFooController. System. Assert. m. prop equals null. Question 24. In a single record, a user selects multiple values from a multi-select pick list. How are the selected values represented in Apex? Option A. As a list less than string greater than with each value is an element in the list. Option B. As a string with each value separated by a comma. Option C. As a string with each value separated by a semicolon. Option D. As a set less than string greater than with each value is an element in the set. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C is a string with each value separated by a semicolon. Question 25. A developer writes the following code. What is the result of the debug statement? Option A. 1, 100. Option B. 1, 150. Option C. 2, 150. Option D. 2, 200. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C 2, 150. Question 26. What are two valid options for iterating through each account in the collection list less than account greater than named? Account list. Choose 2. Option A. For account the account. Account list. Option B. For account list. Option C. For list L. Account list. Option D. For integer I equals 0. I less than account list. Size I++. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. For account the account. Account list. Option D. For integer I equals 0. I less than account list. Size I++. Question 27. Given map less than id. Account greater than account map equals new map greater than id. Account greater than. Select id. Name from account. What are three valid Apex loop structures for iterating through items in the collection? Choose 3. Option A. For ID account ID. Account map. Key set. Option B. For account account record. Account map. Values. Option C. For integer I equals 0. I less than account map. Size I++. Option D. For ID account ID. Account map. Option A. For account account record. Account map. Key set. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. For ID account ID. Account map. Key set. Option B. For account account record. Account map. Values. Option C. For integer I equals 0. I less than account map. Size I++. Question 28. Universal Containers wants opportunities to be locked from editing when reaching the closed won stage. Which two strategies should a developer use to accomplish this? Choose 2. Option A. Use a visual workflow. Option B. Use a validation rule. Option C. Use the process automation settings. Option D. Use a trigger. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Use a validation rule. Option D. Use a trigger. Question 29. How should a developer make sure that a child record on a custom object with a lookup to the account object has the same sharing access as its associated account? Option A. Create a sharing rule comparing the custom object owner to the account owner. Option B. Create a validation rule on the custom object comparing the record owners on both records. Option C. Include the sharing related list on the custom object page layout. Option D. Ensure that the relationship between the objects is master detail. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Ensure that the relationship between the objects is master detail. Question 30. An org has a single account named "no contacts" that has no related contacts. Given the query, list less than account greater than accounts equals. Select ID. Select ID. Name from contacts. From account where name equals "no contacts." What is the result of running this apex? Option A. Accounts 0. Contacts as invalid apex. Option B. Accounts 0. Contacts as an empty apex. Option C. Accounts 0. Contacts as null. Option D. A query exception is thrown. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Accounts 0. Contacts as null. Question 31. A platform developer at Universal Containers needs to create a custom button for the account object that, when clicked, will perform a series of calculations and redirect the user to a custom Visualforce page. Which three attributes need to be defined with values in the less than apex page greater than tag to accomplish this? Choose 3. Option A. Action. Option B. Render as. Option C. Standard controller. Option D. Read only. Option A. Extensions. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Action. Option C. Standard controller. Option E. Extensions. Question 32. Using the schema builder, a developer tries to change the AP name of a field that is referenced in an Apex test class. What is the end result? Option A. The AP name is not changed and there are no other impacts. Option B. The AP name of the field and the reference in the test class is changed. Option C. The AP name of the field is changed, and a warning is issued to update the class. Option D. The AP name of the field and the reference in the test class is updated. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. The AP name is not changed and there are no other impacts. Question 33. When is an Apex trigger required instead of a process builder process? Option A. When a record needs to be created. Option B. When multiple records related to the triggering record need to be updated. Option C. When a post to chatter needs to be created. Option D. When an action needs to be taken on a delete or undelete. Or before a DML operation is executed. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. When an action needs to be taken on a delete or undelete. Or before a DML operation is executed. Question 34. A developer needs to join data received from an integration with an external system with parent records in Salesforce. The dataset does not contain the Salesforce IDs of the parent records. But it does have a foreign key attribute that can be used to identify the parent. Which action will allow the developer to relate records in the data model without knowing the Salesforce ID? Option A. Create and populate a custom field on the parent object marked as unique. Option B. Create a custom field on the child object of type external relationship. Option C. Create and populate a custom field on the parent object marked as an external ID. Option D. Create a custom field on the child object of type foreign key. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Create and populate a custom field on the parent object marked as an external ID. Question 35. A developer created a Lightning component to display a short text summary for an object and wants to use it with multiple Apex classes. How should the developer design the Apex classes? Option A. Have each class define method getObject that returns the subject that is controlled by the Apex class. Option B. Extend each class from the same base class that has a method getTextSummary that returns the summary. Option C. Have each class implement an interface that defines method getTextSummary that returns the summary. Option D. Have each class define method getTextSummary that returns the summary. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Extend each class from the same base class that has a method getTextSummary that returns the summary. Question 36. Which approach should a developer use to add pagination to a Visual Force page? Option A standard controller. Option B, the action attribute for a page. Option C, the extensions attribute for a page. Option D, a standard set controller. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, a standard set controller. Question 37. A developer is asked to create a PDF quote document formatted using the company's branding guidelines and automatically save it to the opportunity record. Which two ways should a developer create this functionality? Choose two. Option A. Install an application from the App Exchange to generate documents. Option B. Create a Visual Force page with custom styling. Option C. Create an email template and use it in Process Builder. Option D. Create a visual flow that implements the company's formatting. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Install an application from the App Exchange to generate documents. Option B. Create a Visual Force page with custom styling. Question 38. Which tool allows a developer to send requests to the Salesforce REST APIs and view the responses? Option A. REST Resource Path URL. Option B. Workbench REST Explorer. Option C. Developer Console REST tab. Option D. Force.com/id REST Explorer tab. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, Workbench REST Explorer. Question 39. A developer created a Visual Force page and a custom controller with methods to handle different buttons and events that can occur on a page. What should the developer do to deploy to production? Option A. Create a test class that provides coverage of the Visual Force page. Option B. Create a test page that provides coverage of the Visual Force page. Option C. Create a test page that provides coverage of the custom controller. Option D. Create a test class that provides coverage of the custom controller. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Create a test class that provides coverage of the custom controller. Question 40. What is a benefit of using an after insert trigger over using a before insert trigger? Option A. An after insert trigger allows a developer to bypass validation rules when updating fields on the new record. Option B. An after insert trigger allows a developer to insert other objects that reference the new record. Option C. An after insert trigger allows a developer to make a call out to an external service. Option D. An after insert trigger allows a developer to modify fields in the new record without a query. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. An after insert trigger allows a developer to insert other objects that reference the new record.